Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the oven is warming up right now. We will be putting some bacon on after this video. We got to get that thing hot. I got some, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but if you've never had Conica, I think it's called Conica sausage, you can get it at like Publix. Conica sausage is the best sausage known to man, especially if you put it on the smoker. Now, Conica also makes thick bacon. That is the best bacon you'll ever have in your life. Take it from me. And that's what's going in the oven here shortly. Now, we got a lot of wild stuff going on today. Top of the list, the Epstein files get released today. Dun, dun, dun. We'll get into all that in the group. We don't talk about a lot of that. In fact, I should have called him the island guy. I'm staring at CNBC right now, and John Collison, the Stripe co-founder, is on. And I just wanted to remind you, Stripe was the first investor in Stellar. Just as a point of note, Stripe, to this day, to my knowledge, owns 2% of the outstanding XLM. That's what they got for their investment. Stripe is also the back end of X, and X is coming out with X payments, X money this year. All right, so the market has been in pullback mode, folks. Today, I'm going to tell you why I'm getting greedy while everybody else is getting fearful. I'm going to go through that, and I'm going to lay it all out for you. And I bought the dip. I think I've bought the dip 4 or 5 times over the last 2 or 3 days. Bought the dip again last night. So moving along. So Michael Arrington put this out. Michael Arrington, remembers, the best friend of Brad Garlinghouse. He's a venture capitalist. He started TechCrunch. He says, be greedy when others are fearful, and showed the 10. We're at the extreme fear. I'm at the extreme greed stage. Extreme XRP greed. That's a thumbnail. Let me write that down. Extreme XRP greed. That is my thumbnail today. All right, moving along. CoinStats put this out. Crypto fear and greed index 20. Extreme fear. This is the lowest level since the 2022 bear market when the BTC was at 20,800. Be greedy when others are fearful. That came from Warren Buffett. I showed you this yesterday. Bitcoin is only at 3% adoption, which means that altcoins, like XRP, that will be number one before this is over, are at probably more like 1% or less adoption because of the Bitcoin marketing machine for this last decade and the Bitcoin regulatory monopoly that was had intentionally. Okay, it says here we're still very early. Well, I did a little write-up for you. Here's why I'm greedy and buying XRP dips while others are fearful in crypto. This is the Internet of Information. The dot-com boom, Internet of Information, took place from the mid-90s to the early 2000s, and innovation was allowed to flourish by regulators. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 accelerated the boom, spurring massive VC investments and an IPO frenzy, eventually leading to a speculative bubble in the early 2000s. At the peak, the dot-com boom had a total market capitalization of the NASDAQ was approximately 6.7 trillion, around 12 trillion in today's dollars. The Internet of Value, that's what we're in, was not allowed to flourish by regulators since inception, but was instead an environment of picking winners and losers. Think ETHgate, think Bitcoin regulatory monopoly without having to go through a lawsuit, think them lying about not knowing who the Satoshis are, picking winners and losers and stopping other technologies through regulatory capture. 2025 is the year crypto gets legislation, which will be our Telecommunications Act moment, but this time it will boom even more because of the pent-up innovation and demand from investors who have been fearful since inception because of regulators. There's $2.8 trillion in the entire crypto market as of today. This time the value is in the protocol, utility tokens, but also in crypto equity. IPOs have been held back for years. We've only had a handful until now. Those will be unleashed starting this year. This is why I'm locked in and greedy. We are at the beginning, the very beginning, folks. You need to read that and read it again. And don't take my word for it. Here's Cynthia Loomis about our Telecommunications Act moment this year.
Many members of the Senate were still trying to wrap their heads around what is a Bitcoin, what is a digital asset, what is a stable coin, what is a Howey test. And so now we've arrived at the point where we can move forward. We're on the precipice of finally creating a bipartisan legislative framework for both stablecoins and market structure. I hope we can get both pieces of legislation to President Trump for his signature this year. Many members of the Senate were still trying to wrap their heads around what is a Bitcoin, what is a digital asset, what is a stable coin, what is a Howey test. And so now we've arrived at the point where we can move forward. We're on the precipice of finally creating a bipartisan legislative framework for both stablecoins and market structure. I hope we can get both pieces of legislation to President Trump for his signature this year.
All right. And then there's this.
Turning to
who is a non-investment contract commodity?
Market structure, I'm excited to work with Chairman Scott, our subcommittee members, Chairman Bozeman, Chairman French Hill over in the House, and Chairman G.T. Thompson, who are respectively chairs of Financial Services and Agriculture, to clearly draw the line between a security and a non-investment contract commodity, and to create a path for digital asset exchanges to register with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. This industry needs clear rules of the road that it can follow while simultaneously promoting both responsible innovation and protecting consumers.
Okay, so then we've got this. Bitcoin whale Spoofy accumulates $344 million in Bitcoin as price dips below 90 after accumulating 30K in Bitcoin in 2024 and cashing out during the Trump rally. Smart money is buying the dip. You better believe they are. We got Gemini co-founder Cameron Winklevoss has confirmed that the SEC has dropped its case against the crypto exchange. Here's the letter, apparently. We've concluded the investigation in the Gemini Trust Company. There it is. And then Jeremy Hogan points this out. SEC has just agreed to pause the Tron Foundation lawsuit and are asking the judge for 60 days to resolve it. Lawsuit involved not only allegations of sale of unregistered securities, but also fraud allegations, market manipulation, and illegal payments to promoters. Another SEC crypto litigation is going away, although I think they should move forward with the Jake Paul part of the lawsuit out of principle for all the staff that watched the Tyson fight. I agree. He says Ripple is still a more complicated case to resolve because the judgment, the Tron case wasn't nearly as far along. That's right, first in, last out. I remember that from my accounting class days in college. This is from Chad Steingraber. Visa is partnered with Thunes for global digital currency transactions, and he's reminding us that Thunes partnered with Ripple. We're excited to build our partnership with Thunes Payments, and this one, extending Ripple Net services into Morocco and Greater MENA region. Thunes, Ripple, XRP. And then we had this, by the way, if you hear a blower, that's because someone is blowing outside. Ripple works with Ondo and MasterCard. Yesterday, Ondo Finance partners with MasterCard. MasterCard's a longtime partner of Ripple. Then Ripple announced today we're partnering with BDAX to expand institutional crypto custody in South Korea. BDAX Korea will use Ripple custody to provide secure infrastructure for XRP, RLUSD, and crypto assets, supporting institutional adoption, XRPL developer growth, and Korea's evolving regulatory landscape, a major step in advancing on-chain economy in the region. Here's Monica Long. South Korea is gearing up for a wave of institutional crypto adoption. Very excited for Ripple custody to plant another flag in APAC with BDAC Korea. For XRP and RLUSD, the importance of secure institutional grade custody technology can't be overstated, especially as enterprises prepare for an influx of crypto interest. Even CoinDesk is jumping in. They know it. Fundamental investors tracking XRP have more reason to cheer as planned set of features aims to make the XRP ledger, the network underpinning that token, even more appealing for institutional usage. Let me see. I think I missed one. Well, maybe not. Here's an interesting clip about the importance of the Fort Knox discussion. This is from Crypto Czar David Sachs.
What I think is interesting about this is that nobody has said this is a crazy idea to go make sure the gold is actually there. And, just think about that. I mean, I think the gold is probably there. I think the gold is almost certainly there, but nobody thinks it's a crazy idea to go check because we don't know. That's how bad the corruption has gotten in Washington, is that we can't fully trust that our gold is still in Fort Knox. I think the majority of the American people are distrustful, and we've seen that the corruption in Washington is rampant. That is what Doge has exposed. USAID, this was this slush fund for all these left-wing and Democratic interest groups. They were funding the media, the New York Times, Politico, the BBC. 9 out of 10 publications in Ukraine were getting funded, and so on down the line it went. So we've seen, as Doge has uncovered, more and more about where our money is actually being spent. We've seen this enormous expose of corruption, and I think that people are actually so skeptical now of how our government is taking care of our money that I think they actually are a little bit worried about whether the gold is still in Fort Knox. Now, like I said, I think it probably is there, but we got to check.
Yes, we got to check. So it's about, folks, transparency. That's what's been needed in this country. That's what it's all about. The guys that love Tether are getting all upset about this, okay? Circles Alaire says stablecoin issuers should be U.S. registered. Well, look, folks, what's the problem been with Tether all along? Is that there's been no audits. They do attestations, but you can't. I mean, something as with that, I can't believe they've let it go this long. I mean, shoot, you have to wonder, why didn't Gary Gensler? He went after everything except the things that were really shady. Tether has I've shown you the beginnings of Tether. I mean, you're talking about shady, but look, oh yeah, you want to be involved in U.S.? Okay, we audit everybody, just like they should audit the Ethereum ICO. Everything needs to be audited to make sure there's no corruption, to make sure there's no Chinese influence, North Korean influence, to make sure that these things are not cloaked as these decentralized systems or whatever. So to make sure that that's what part of what we've got to do for protection. You can't, I mean, they don't know anything about what's really been going on behind. There hasn't been a real audit. I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation. And a lot of people, they only argue on Tether's behalf because they know it'll crash the Bitcoin market if it's looked into. Not me. That would be a temporary, the market might get hit, but it would be temporary. And up from the ashes, guess who would rise? It would be the digital assets with transparency, and they would rise big time. Who's been more transparent than anybody in all of crypto? That would be Ripple. And if you don't believe me, go back to the clip of Brad Garlinghouse and Joseph Lubin, where Joseph Lubin tries to challenge Brad Garlinghouse. Well, don't you sell a lot of XRP? He says, how much? And Brad says, how much Ethereum do you sell? Oh, we can't talk about that. We don't disclose that. That's we have internal transparency. I mean, come on. And we know for a fact that China was one of the major investors in Ethereum. For a fact. Now, okay, in DAIXRP.com, here's what we're going to do. And you can join, just look at the link below this YouTube video. It says join. You can join through YouTube, or if you want to join through Patreon, it's the same thing. You can go to DAIXRP.com. We do extended videos with no ad, and you get the entire video, which includes what's out here on YouTube, with no advertisements. Okay, so here we go. No, we're going to talk about what's coming today, the big one. Today's the day, and I'm going to show you some of these chart people. They're seeing what's about to happen with XRP. We're going to show you that. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.